Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Dr. Music Podcast once again. Thank you so much for being here, and return visitors will recognize this gentleman. I have Will Turpin with me from Collective Soul today. Will is the longtime bassist for Collective Soul, of course. Collective Soul, #1 hits, multi-platinum sales, Billboard, BMI, ASCAP Awards. Most importantly, the respect of their peers and the industry as a whole. This band has been doing it for many, many years now. The band has had an extremely busy year this year, releasing a live album called Live at the Print Shop in January, 20-song double album. We got to talk about that. Unbelievable. Here to Eternity in May. And they have a tour going on. They're touring the country as part of Summer Camp with Trucks tour with Hootie and the Blowfish and Edwin McCain. I mean, can you cram anything else in there, Will? I mean, come on.
Yeah, the 30 years thing is always still doesn't feel right, but it's apparent and very evident on the road with all these guys, with Edwin and with Hootie, because we all met each other in around 94, 95. We were all signed to Atlantic Records.
Yeah.
Three bands from the South, and found ourselves on a record label in New York City. And we've known each other that long, so we're having fun on tour right now.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's so cool. I talked to Jim Sony from Hootie, and he grew up right where I'm sitting right now. So he was on the show. We've got a friendship, and he said you're such a great dude, and it's been great to know you this summer and hang out. And he's really enjoying I think about those guys and how what the warm feeling is, and I get that same feeling from you guys. And the title of the tour, Summer Camp with Trucks. That's what it is, isn't it? It's a really is this one of the most fun tours you've had?
It's definitely one of the more relaxed,
Yeah.
definitely one of the more family oriented. Seems like we're all family because we've been rocking together for so long. Edwin also.
Hmm.
So yeah, so it's appropriately named. There's about 8 semis on this tour. So yeah, it's summer camp with trucks. Yeah.
It's so cool. And I think about this tour, and like you say, it's more family. It's a little more. I mean, I've seen you guys. I say, you toured with Styx, rockin' band. You guys are, you can hit some power chords. You know what I mean? You can rock with the best of them. Hootie, a little more adult contemporary,
Yeah.
especially like with Darius's solo stuff too. It's you bring in a little bit of a country crowd. It's a little tamer maybe. Have you changed the set list to accommodate for the crowd?
Well, we got we get an hour for this tour, so not really. And yeah, you're right. Collective Soul is a band who, I mean, in '95 and '94, we just put out a nice little release about Aerosmith. '94, Aerosmith took us out, showed us all the sheds in the summer, and then the very next summer, Van Halen took us and showed us every arena in North America, and we owe a lot to those guys. And yeah, we can do straight ahead rock and roll. We can do arena rock. But we can, even when we get put on festivals, sometimes we get put on maybe more of a pop festival, and we will, especially with festivals, we will definitely mold our set, because sometimes we get put on pretty hard, aggressive rock and roll festivals, like what's the one in Kentucky? It's pretty hard rock,
Rockville, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we have played Rockville, and we just make sure, we don't leave out World I Know, because even the rockers, even the dudes who are banging their head the whole day at those festivals, even those guys appreciate a break. But
Yeah.
yeah, depending on who we're with, Collective Soul can slightly change up the set list and make it more accommodating for the crowd. But that being said, we don't really have to out here with Hootie and Edwin. I think the core audience understands the friendship that we have, and we've done things with them through the years.
Mhm.
I think there's a percentage of people that are like, huh, I wouldn't have seen that billing come together, but once they come to the show and they feel the vibe, I don't think anybody walks away going, that was weird. I think everybody's
Right.
really loving the show, and the crowds are showing up, man. It's been really packed, full, and very loud.
It's great, man. It's so cool. Yeah, you guys can play with anybody, man. It's that's the I think that's the wonderful thing about Collective Soul. I get hard rock friends, heavy, even metal guys. They like you guys, man.
Who have a handful of Collective Soul songs they like. Yeah.
Yeah, or even like you say, the world I know is or anything really. They appreciate the musicality of it, man. It's just it's you guys being you, and I think that's really appreciated.
Yeah, that's what I feel like that's what it has to be. I tell people this all the time, we can only do what we do.
Hmm.
Uh, we try to do it the best of our ability, and we don't take it lightly. Ultimately, we're trying to have fun, and then hopefully that transcends to the audience. But we take pride in what we do, but Collective Soul can only be Collective Soul, and that's what we do.
Yeah, yeah. When you come out, you're Collective Soul. You're not trying to be Hootie, or you're not trying to be, Metallica. You do
We
Collective.
toured with Metallica.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, and I'm sure that crowd loved it, man. I'm a Metallica fan myself. I would have loved it for sure. You guys are great live. But let's talk about the new live record. Out in January, so it's had a little bit of time. It's live at the print shop. It's not the live record that people might assume. There's not 20,000 people out there that you're playing to. Explain the live at the print shop experience.
It's an Atlanta-based YouTube channel. It's a show basically called The Print Shop. A buddy of ours, Adam Blank, started it. He has a love for music, always has, and he started a show in his basement. It's basically a TV studio in his basement, and we played probably 7 or 8 tunes and recorded them live and had them mixed. So it's more like live in a TV studio. Is what it sounds like to me. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a little different. It's not live on stage in front of an audience.
Right. Yeah, but it's a really cool take on some of the tunes.
Yeah,
It's
thanks, man.
really, yeah, I like it, man. And I saw the live album and I'm thinking, okay, a live album, which that's okay. It doesn't always thrill me. This thrills me a little bit more for sure. Because it's I feel like you're in the room. That's the
Yeah.
sound of it. Yeah, it's cool. Um, Most of the music world today, we're releasing singles, one at a time. I go here to eternity. There's a single, and then there's 20. You just unload, which I love. I'm old school. I love that album thing. I love the ebb and flow, and I love listening straight through all that kind of stuff. But that's not really the world we live in today. And I know Vibrating was supposed to be part of Blood. You guys wanted to do a double album there. Management really didn't think it was a great idea, is the story. Tell me about the decision to release a double record here, and what did management think of this one?
Yeah, I mean, and even our desire to release a double record goes back to even Atlantic Record days. We always wanted to do a double record. Just the ceremony of being able to open up a double record to me is super cool. But it's also what we saw our heroes release. Yeah, I mean, you got the White Album, you got Yellow Brick Road.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
so all our heroes did double records, and we always wanted to do a double record. So yeah, and especially once the world of singles came around, everybody's like, "No, don't do that." And really, the only decision behind making a double record this time was the fact that we were going to do it and not take no for an answer, and that's what we did. We started out in Elvis's house, and everything was going so smooth. We decided to keep trucking and come up with a double record.
Yeah, it's so cool. It's great, man. I love it. Yeah, and I think of all those records I grew up with, the Tommy record, and opening it up, and it just it really has that feel too. Because you go on so many journeys. When there's 10 songs, you kind of go, let's start at the middle, get to the, you start at the beginning, get to the middle, get to the end. This
Yeah,
has that expansive thing where
yeah,
you slow down a little and you
yeah. And
draw the
you get to
movement.
explore some different space. I
Hmm.
produce a lot of bands now, and I end up talking to them about song order with the albums. A
Yeah,
lot of them are doing singles, but a lot of the groups I'm working with are still into the album concept. But yeah, we always talk about the order, and with 10, 11 songs, I'm always like, hey guys, you can we can go ahead and put these cornerstones in right now. We're that here's your banger. We got to start off with this record or
right.
this song. Here's your captivating pop, maybe a little slower song. We'll put that number 4, number 5.
Mhm. Yeah,
Here's how you want to close the album. So we got those cornerstones, and we just kind of fill in the rest.
yeah,
And with the double record, you get a little more time to go on a journey, and with Collective Soul, there's always a lot of different influences that you hear on our songs. So I think the double record was cool, man. You hear anything from our Beatles influence to our rock and roll, our straight ahead pop.
yeah.
There's even a little swing in there. There's even a little Stray Cats in there.
Yeah, it's great, man. I love it. It's so cool. You mentioned Elvis's house, man. Palm Springs. Now, you guys are known for doing that. We've talked about that before, where you that's what you do. You rent a house or find a house somewhere, get in there, and start doing it. This time you go to Elvis's house. Yeah, that's a little bit different. Uh, How's that? Does that have, I mean, that's got to play into the whole, or and you stay in the house a little bit. I don't know if you did, but some of the guys, actually stayed in the house, absorbed all of that. Does it change your playing? Does it change the way, you have the song written probably, but when you get in there, does it take a new life?
Yeah, I mean Elvis's Palm Springs estate, it had been left just like he left it. No one thinks someone had lived there after him, but not for long. And then the next people, no one really lived there. It was in disrepair. Not all the bathrooms were even working. Um,
Wow.
but like I said, in today's world, we bring in some hard drives and we bring in our instruments and we stage the place up and we made it really hip. We had the main living room that had floor to ceiling glass, looking at the pool, and then the Palm Springs landscape right behind that. We were kind of facing that. And like I said, the walls, the paint, the tile in the bathroom was still Priscilla Presley pink. The red carpet in Elvis's fun room. Those were, the DNA is still in the carpet. I'm sure. You know what I mean?
That's
Uh,
insane.
so I don't, technically, does it technically affect what you play? You can't really quantize that or figure out what that is, but it definitely is always part of the vibe and it's always part of the flow that you're dealing with. So yeah, man, it was apparent and it was around us, man, because it was literally left just like he left it. The
Wow.
guys who would own it, it was a friend of a friend, and that was our idea. As soon as we knew that somebody had Elvis's house, it took us about 3 or 4 years to get it into motion. We had to get through COVID. Uh,
Yeah.
And now I hear that Tim, he's the guy who owned the house. I hear Tim's actually doing finally doing a remodel, but he was just sitting on it all those years because he didn't know how to deal with it. And as an investment, it was growing as an investment anyway because he bought it when real estate was super low in Palm Springs. So he was just kind of sitting on it. Uh, and yeah, thank God he was just sitting on it because he was able to let his friends in a rock band come in there, and we had a blast, man. We were there for 1 month, and it certainly affected our vibe, and certainly affected just the overall, general daily feeling, man.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's kind of why you do the house thing, right? To
Mm-hmm.
get everybody in there and get that feeling and get that, whole vibe and aura going. It's collective soul. It's part of the formula, man. And that's really cool. I hear like matter of fact has a real that Elvis style to it, that real rock and roll thing. It's cool. And you mentioned that Beatles influence. I hear a little bit in Sister and Mary, I hear that obla di obla da thing going on. I you feel the moods going on, and you
Yeah.
guys record together, right? I mean, you're in the same room.
Yeah, I mean that's another thing I tell everybody, that if you know how to play together, you know how to play off of each other and together at the same time, uh, creating together and starting the original core of the song is always going to be, to me, it's always going to be a little stronger. You learn things off of using your ears and listening to other people,
Yeah,
and then they do the same thing, and then it bounces back and forth, and it goes higher and higher and higher, hopefully.
yeah,
So that, yeah, that's the way we approach it.
yeah. It's great, man. Anything different with this record? Production techniques or instruments? You bring anything in new like that or anything like that?
No, and we love bringing in our friends too. So the one of the highlights for me was singing with Mickey Thomas,
Yeah,
Jefferson Starship,
yeah.
and we got him on a few songs, and even record me and him recorded around the mic some harmonies one time too. So that was a blessing.
Wow.
Uh, but
Awesome.
man, yeah, we just go at it, man. You serve the song, and we just go at it, and that's how we do it. We came from a studio. We know how the studio works.
Right.
So if you keep us together and we're creating music, we get it down the road pretty quick.
Yeah, it's speaking of, the guests, you got Brian Ray on there who has been on the show. He's just a great guy, a joy to be around and talk to. And he's so humble. Paul McCartney's guitar player for so many years now.
Going
Uh
on 20 years probably now.
yeah, yeah, and he's still enamored by the fact that he gets to walk out and play with Paul. And
Yeah, I think I would be too.
yeah, yeah. I mean, but after 20 years, you might think that, I mean, he's an established guy. You might
Eh,
think that if,
I don't know, Scott.
nope,
Yeah,
nope.
I don't know.
He wasn't at all.
That's
Every
Paul
day
McCartney,
was
my friend.
it's crazy, isn't it? It's just nuts. Well, you had Elton John, Perfect Day on a record.
Yeah,
I mean, that's crazy too. It's just
I love that song.
yeah, it's so great, man. It's so great. And it's so great to hear that voice and that, those keys on a Collective Soul record. It's just awesome. But you got a song on this record that's a little bit different than all the rest. Bob Dylan, Where Are You Today? It's live at the Ryman. Um,
Another historic spot.
it's crazy too. Um, but that's the only live recorded song on the record. Tell me, was it written for that gig? Was that a spur of the moment thing? How did that come about?
It was literally just Ed being at home during COVID and trying to he was trying to spark up more of a politically motivated song, and he just said he didn't know how to do that, and so it turned into a poetic song about probably the greatest political songwriter of all time.
Right,
And it's got general sentiments on society and what's going on, but it's
right,
not a protest song. It turns
right.
into just a general sentiment of where's our Bob Dylan today?
Yeah. It's a great song, and but when he was, when he wrote it, and he brings it in, did you intend to do it in the studio? How did it end up at the Ryman? Why keep that recording? Why not do it in the studio?
Yeah, we didn't. That's just another one we didn't really think too much about. We're like, hey, why don't we use that? Because we did. The Ryman was recorded for a live broadcast or performance, so the whole thing recorded and mixed the actual live performance from the Ryman, and we just thought that performance turned out great. And it's like it's Bob Dylan. The songs, songs about Bob Dylan. So what cooler way than just to keep it acoustic? It's Ed singing his ass off, playing harmonica.
Yeah.
Um, and to me, it was the perfect little package as it was. So I think it was just one of those things where we came up with the idea and we're like, yeah, let's do that and move forward.
Yeah, yeah, and it's great. It's great on the album because it has that little bit of a, hey, this is different. It's got that little peak in the peaks and valleys of a record. That's one of those little peaks. Um, you get you mentioned Mickey Thomas. You got Brian Ray on this record. Those guests. Does do the Collective Soul has a vibe, has an aura. you put a different element in. Is it harder to get the collective soul thing? Like, you plug in Brian Ray or that, you get Mickey Thomas's signature voice in there. Does it derail a little bit? Is it a little bit harder, or is it, easier?
I think the way we get around it is they're usually in when the song has already kind of started to bloom, so they feel the vision that we've kind of started.
Right.
Um, and of course, there's mix down. You don't hear everything they recorded. Not everything everybody records makes it to the end either. So
Right.
there's
Right.
mix down where you can do your thing and make sure it fits the song. But yeah, most of the time when we're bringing in people, the song is pretty realized. That being said, we're real good friends with Peter Stroud, and we sometimes bring him in on the beginning of the song just because we've been with him so long, and he can start with us and help develop the song also.
Yeah.
But Mickey and Brian came in; those songs were 80% down the road.
Yeah. Well, and you're dealing with, the biggest pros of pro, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean they
and
can,
once they hear the vibe, nobody's ever not been able to fit right in.
yeah, yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. You mentioned you're doing a lot of producing. You're doing working with other bands. You had a solo record down there. It's been a little while. Are you writing for another solo record perhaps? Or, tell us about some of the bands that you're working with.
Yeah, man. Reel to Reel Studios
Yep.
took over my father's ownership, and yeah, man, I'm
Many years
very
now.
yeah, man. It's that studio's been since '76 when my dad opened it, but
Wow.
yeah, I took over when my dad passed away 5 years ago. My kids are older, and man, I was like, man, there's no way I'm letting the studio go. It's a genius build,
Hmm.
and so yeah, man. I mean, there's all kind of people I'm working with. The Summit from Ohio just finished a record. I really love Red and the Revelers. Their record wraps up any day now. They've got an entire record. Check out Reel to Reel Studio socials. We're keeping everybody up to date on what's going on down there. And man, we're doing anything from just like Collective Soul has many different flavors. I'm producing anything from country bands to psychedelic hippie bands to straight ahead rock bands, and as long as it's good music and good songs, I'm not scared of it.
Yeah, I love that, man. And that's kind of how I feel about, Collective Soul. It's just good music, man. Don't stress on the box that you put it in. It's just good music, man. And that's really what it's all about. It's cool. Talking to Jim, Sony,
Yeah,
he's got his book going and he's out in the crowd and he's selling the book. I think about that with you guys, with yourself. Do you journal at all? Do you ever thought about writing down your experiences? I mean, you've been doing this a while now. Played so around the world, really, and so many great experiences. Have you ever thought about writing it down?
yeah, we've got a biographer we've been talking to for a while. We're trying to talk about what kind of book we could do. Um, Matter of fact, Marshall Terrell's his name. He's completing a reel to reel biography right now. It's about my father's path through building a studio and his own trials and tribulations with the music industry. The studio for him was a ways to the means. He was a songwriter and performer. Um, so yeah, we talk about that all the time. It's more right now. It's more about a documentary that we've already started. So the documentary is almost completely done. I would expect to see it out next year. It takes a while to get these things locked in, but I'm excited for it. We've already seen the first cut, and that I think once the documentary's out, you'll see a number of different things, some books and different things come out.
Yeah, I remember last time we talked and you kind of touched on that a little bit. That it was
I probably hadn't seen the version, but I'm excited to have
no,
it. I've already
yeah.
seen it.
Yeah, yeah. Ah, that's so cool. And I remember you saying, it's going to be a kind of a big year next year. And then I see this, it's like, yeah, kinda. You guys are always busy. It's great to see, man. It's cool. Um, you're only one of five bands to play 94 Woodstock and 99 Woodstock. You played so many legendary places, so many around the world. Um, do you have one that's most memorable? And is there a place that you still dream about playing?
Woodstock '94 was really memorable just because it was so pretty, and obviously that'll probably be the largest crowd we'll ever play in front of. I mean, the estimates were over 350,000 people. Not accurate estimates because of how the storyline of how the fences went down and such, but
Right.
you literally couldn't see the end of humanity. And it was our first year. Middle of that summer, we got a call to play Woodstock '94, and then same deal. Middle of that summer, we got a call from Aerosmith to play all the sheds with them. So the Woodstock '94 show kind of sticks out to me. Um, Man, through the years, there's been amazing shows. I mean, the whole tour with Van Halen is probably the most special thing that happened to us as a band, as far as a group like Van Halen that was older brothers, maybe uncles, but not really a father figure, because we had fun with them, and we
Yeah.
yeah, we were doing some fun stuff with them, but they really showed us a lot. And Eddie personally sent us on some of our first meetings and first directives to start getting our business more under control. So
Yeah, and
yeah,
that's
without them, and they sent us on a nice trajectory after hanging out with them. And of course, every time I play with Sammy and Michael still today is a special moment.
yeah. Oh man, those guys. And Sammy, I don't know what he is. He's not human for sure. That's
Great guy, man.
76 or something, and he sounds just amazing. The energy and everything. Crazy. It's so cool. Uh I'm seeing you tomorrow night, man. Yeah, this tour, what's on the agenda? You gonna take a rest? You gotta had a big year. The tour goes for a while. Uh you gonna stay home a little bit and maybe work in the studio. What's
Yeah,
going
I'll be in the studio. I'm just filling up the calendar, man. I don't know why I want to stay busy, but I stay busy.
on? Yeah.
I talk to people and I look at the calendar. I'm like, there's nothing going on that day. Why don't we just record the whole week? And then of course I get there to that Monday and I'm like, oh, why'd I do that? But it's a good thing, man. It's a good thing to stay busy, and I really do love it. I love producing. Um, so yeah, I'll be doing a lot of that, and I'm sure Collective Soul. We don't sit around either. So we'll be doing something else. We'll be thinking about the next chapter also.
Man, and we so appreciate it out here, man. We love having you around. It's just so great. All the things you've given us as fans, all this music and stuff to love, man. We appreciate you, man. And I always appreciate you on the show. It's always great to catch up with you, man. I do interviews all the time, and it's like I say, it's like connecting with my brothers, man. I love you, buddy. Thank you.
Right on, man. I saw your name on the schedule, and I was excited to talk to you, buddy.
And I appreciate you, man. Yeah, I can't wait till the next time. And I know it's not too far away. So it's pretty cool. And I'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, I'm shooting from the soundboard, and so I get some images of you. It'll be a little bit difficult, but yeah, it'll be cool, man.
Right on, man.
All right,
We're
take it
looking forward
easy.
to it, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Take care, bud.
Again, Scott. Yep.
All right, see ya.
See you, man.
Bye.